Hello, everybody. I am so excited. I am coming to you from the future because I wanted to share with you my September reset. I feel like this is a great time for me and what I'm trying to do in my life and my business. And if you've not followed me on my podcast, I actually did a whole podcast on the idea of a reset being the new work-life balance mindset. So make sure that you click on that link in the description box below and hear about my actual journey. It explains a lot about what's going on and what you're going to see in me actually walking out my own reset. So I thought I would share that with you today. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, keep watching. All right, guys, before we even get started, I wanted to share with you my definition of a reset and why I think it is definitely the new work-life balance mindset that we should be taking on. In my opinion, there is really no such thing as work-life balance, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but I wanted to share with you my definition of it. I go over all of this in my podcast, so if you've not subscribed to the CEO Mindset podcast, definitely do that. The link is down in the description below because I go through a lot of like lifestyle applications to developing a personal brand and then leveraging it. I've since come to realize that it's really not about, most people don't really understand the concept of personal branding, in my opinion. They think it's more images and videos and like customized URLs and things of that nature. But to me, it's actually understanding who you are well enough to then leverage it in all aspects of your life. And when you do that, you're able to live your life and work your business simultaneously. So that is my thought around that. But let's just look at my definition of a reset. And it's when you have come to a point or a bottleneck or a frustration and you're like, okay, something has to change. I cannot continue going the way I'm going. So that's acknowledgement. And then you evaluate what needs to happen. Like, what do you need to do? Do I need to minimize something? Do I need to add something? What needs to happen? And then you actively take those needs, you put those needs into action, go and do the things that you need to do to get the different results. So that to me is what a reset is. And I believe that the work-life balance, the thinking behind that is a little skewed because it looks like there is an actual balance between you building your business, growing your career, and you living your life and having a family, and that those two should be equal, but they're not. Those are things that are happening simultaneously. And so we've got to figure out a way to live that without losing our minds, without losing our focus, and without becoming so frustrated and so overwhelmed. And so the reset is my solution to that. So let's walk through my actual practical application to this concept of a reset versus a work-life balance mindset. So first, let me tell you why I felt like a mindset shift was necessary. I have been in business for some time and I've been working towards a specific goal for a very long time. And each year get to this point where I feel like I'm not going to get there. I just feel really frustrated. I feel like this goal is just going to be unattainable. It just happens. You know, we all go through that sort of imposter syndrome period or that limiting belief period. And so I guess it was just that time of the year and I needed to change my mindset about that. I was feeling like I was missing out or I wasn't really being the best example for my kids because I was working so much. My daughter was home for the summer and she always wanted to do something, but I always felt like I had to work. Just the idea of work-life balance was not hitting it. So I decided to do a reset. And based on that definition that I just gave you, the idea of really acknowledging that there was a bottleneck and there was an issue, and then evaluating what I really, really needed in my life, what I truly was trying to do, and then actively discovering ways to do something different to get a different result. That was what I decided I needed to do. And so this particular Sunday that I'm sharing with you today in this video was me actually taking action and discovering what I needed to do to be my best, and getting that down and jotting that down. So the first thing I did was I recognized that church is a big thing for me, especially the first Sunday of the month. This was the first Sunday in September. So I know that I can go to church, I can get the word, and there is communion. Taking communion the first of the month really does reset my month spiritually for me. And so that was a big thing. Then I came home and I sat down and I was very intentional about writing down my goals for the month and what it was I wanted to accomplish. And I believe that in doing that, that is going to help set the tone for my actions and where I am intentional throughout the month. And so I set goals for not only my personal life, but also for my business, for my finances. As you know, I have a nonprofit, so I set goals for my nonprofit. And I also set goals for the ministries that my husband and I manage and lead at our church. So now I know exactly what I am working towards for this particular month, so I can then put actions into place. I can do things, be intentional about those actions so that I meet those goals every single week, so that month those goals were set. I know at the end of the month I have worked closer and gotten closer to achieving those goals. So I, for instance, decided to get up between 6 and 6:30. As you know, I truly enjoy a good coffee and watching Good Morning America, but I also needed to get my mind right first thing in the morning. So I went back to my devotional, I went back to my gratitude journal, and I went back to yoga. That sort of centers me, stretches me out from a night's sleep. And then my prayer, obviously, I may even get into a little meditation. I don't know. We'll see. But I did sit down and do the goals. And then the whole morning routine thing, which I'll get into basically in a little bit, like just what I said. So then here you see that after I set my goals and I did all that, it was time to start my meal prep. That's something else that relieves a lot of tension and stress for me throughout the week, is just having a game plan for dinner. So you see here that I have my food planner. I know I have written down what I want to have for my dinners throughout the week. And because I am trying to get off of diabetic medication, I am watching my diet. So I'm doing more of a plant-based diet for breakfast and lunch. I'm actively, one of my goals is to try to transition into more of a plant-based diet altogether. So one of my goals was to actually do plant-based for an entire day, at least 3 days a week. Again, it is setting me up for success. So then you don't have to worry about a balance of 50-50 between your work and your life. You're resetting yourself to now think in terms of your work and your life happening at the same time. So you're preparing yourself so that the stress and overwhelm is not there. You're taking away some of those things that are pulling you away from work to do personal life, and some of the things that are pulling you away from your personal life to do work when you do this particular reset. So after I finished prepping my meals, and at the same time I made dinner for my family. That's what the lasagna is for them. I actually made a plant-based lasagna for me. But after I finished prepping my meals and everything, now I'm prepared for the week, and that is one less stress that I have to take on. And now I wanted to tackle my morning routine and how I went about with that. I have a set of pills that I take first thing in the morning after I take my blood sugar, and then I have a set of pills that I take in the evenings right before I go to bed. So instead of having to remember, it was not that I struggled with remembering, but sometimes I would be so tired that the last thing I wanted to do was sit up and open up four pill bottles to take pills. You know, it was so much easier if I could just have them all ready for me to just dump in my hands and take. And so that's why I decided to go ahead and put everything in my little pill organizer so that I have those ready for me for the week and I could just get those done. Now, my morning routine, like I told you before, you know that I completely love waking up in the morning, watching Good Morning America, and talking to my best friend in the whole wide world. So that's what I did. But I actually had a conversation with her. Again, communicating with people and managing expectations is a really big part of your reset. So I spoke with her and I was like, hey, I love you to death, but let's see if we can push this time back if I have to, if I can't fit it in the time that I need to fit it in. But what ended up happening was when I sat down to do my goals for the month, one of the goals was to just get up an hour earlier. And that enabled me to do my yoga first thing in the morning, to do my devotion and my gratitude journal, and do my prayers and any meditation that I want to do, and get that all done by 7 o'clock. So then I can still, chat with her and sip on my coffee and have a leisure morning and have my intentions set for the day. perfect. It worked out just perfectly when I did that. And so I just really believe in the idea of a reset over the entire work-life balance mindset. Now, I talk a lot more about this over in my podcast. So if you're not subscribed to my podcast, definitely just pop on any of your podcast apps and look for the CEO Mindset podcast. Make sure that you are subscribed. It is on all the platforms. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. You can find it there. I'm actually even working on iHeartRadio. That might be ready. I don't know, but check it out and subscribe and leave me a review because that definitely helps. I'm trying to get on Chartable, guys, so help me out. Also, I have this whole idea of mindset shifting as a sort of thing that I think we should start doing. And so because of that, if you stuck around this far in the video, I really wanted to share with you my new CEO Boss Squad. It is my community where I have the Boss Squad community and I do send my newsletter to them, but in my attempt to add value and to really get like-minded people inside the group and start engaging and really working through things with people in real time, I wanted to come up with something that I felt would be very helpful. And I know that as we are growing our businesses, sometimes we just don't have the right mindset, and that mindset is preventing us from achieving our goals, is keeping us bottlenecked and frustrated and overwhelmed, and it also keeps us in that limiting belief mindset and imposter syndrome mindset. And I want to help change those mindsets a little bit. So each month inside the CEO Boss Squad community, I'm just going to release a video and we're going to talk about one mindset shift that needs to happen. And that entire month, we're going to go through a challenge of how we can change that mindset for ourselves. I'll provide you with tons of information that will help you, that will confirm that what I'm saying is true. And then we'll have an opportunity to go live inside the Facebook group that I created and just really talk to each other and hold each other accountable. It's absolutely free. It's just a matter of you opting in. It's very simple, and we'll go ahead and get started. So if that sounds like something that you need in your life and you're just sort of tired of being on that hamster wheel and not understanding how to do things and not having the right frame of mind, or really just not knowing what you don't know, so then you can't do what you need to do, I think that joining the CEO Boss Squad and starting to make some of those mindset shifts is definitely for you. Okay, guys, so that does it. I hope you enjoyed my idea of a reset and how I walked through it. I hope that gives you some encouragement, some motivation to do a reset of your own. And just, I hope it helped you to just really wrap your mind around the mindset shift that you can now be making as it relates to the idea of work-life balance. I told you, I really don't believe in the idea of work-life balance because there's just no such thing as 50-50. Like when it comes to my family just compares a lot higher than, my business. So I don't want to have to split my time. I want to make sure that I'm able to live my life and leverage who I am across my business and with my family so that I can do it all at the same time, manage expectations, minimize as much stress and overwhelm as I possibly can. So that's what we're doing. I hope you join me inside the CEO Boss Squad. We are changing our mindsets. We are shifting mindsets in a whole host of areas. So many more are coming up. We're just starting with work-life balance.